Google has died dead continuous scroll, which means that a year and a half after they launched it on desktop and about 2.5 years after they launched it on mobile, you will now go back to seeing a page one and then a next at the bottom of the page instead of having that continuous scroll of search results. So one, you have to go in and now re-educate your stakeholders about the fact that there is now a page one. And now you have to explain why Google made that choice. So according to them, it was because it was taking too much speed for them to actually continue to load those results. And it wasn't clear that increased satisfaction for users because they didn't necessarily want to keep going down. Maybe they also needed like a hard stop to figure out, okay, do I want any of these sources? And should I move on to the next page? The question becomes, what does this mean to you? And the answer is that it seems to me that what Google is starting to recognize is that they want to shape the way that people search, but they may have lost that moment because they did that already. It tells me that they're constantly experimenting, which is fantastic. It tells me that they're willing to roll back their choices, which we also see with AI generative search. When they first released that, their sourcing was not great for the 2 or 3 articles they would pull from to be able to create an answer. And they also included things like Reddit in their answers, which you're starting to see them pull back on that as well. So kudos to them for continuing to test and continuing to monitor what people want. But back to the continuous scroll in the page one, what it tells me is that we know that users are looking for valuable information and they want to get their questions answered. But it could also be that Google thought that if they just gave them the answer right away, that would satisfy the user's curiosity. And it turns out maybe people want to do more research. Maybe they do want to dive into the content results. They do want to find the answers for themselves. So it's a good sign, in my opinion, that A, Google is paying attention, and B, that we're not just throwing a million sources at people for them to choose, but actually giving them the opportunity to go through them. What that does bring us to, though, is the fact that page one is now becoming, again, very, very important. But you've got this. Make sure your content is easy to find, great metadata. Make sure that when people land on the page, that either you give them the answer to the question they want or they know exactly what you want them to do. And the last thing is pay attention to web writing best practices, both for accessibility issues and also because Google really cares that your content is chunked and bulleted, that all the H2s, H3s, H4s are there to create a well-structured web page. Would love to hear your thoughts about this change to continuous scrolling in page one. Did you pay attention to the change? Did you educate your stakeholders about it? Now are you walking it back, re-explaining it? Let's dish. Anyway, listen, let me tell you something. It's always interesting out here in healthcare content marketing. See you next time.